Hey guys, it's time for another edition of the Retro Review. This is the show where I review all the Coliseum home videos for your viewing pleasure. And at the end, it's your decision if you want to go after and buy this tape or just to let it go. Of course, with WWE no longer putting these great videotapes out on the market, the only way you can really get them nowadays is via eBay or Amazon, or maybe your local videotape trader. See, I got that out. Alright, well, this video, when the voting happened, to be perfectly honest with you guys, it was sort of a no-brainer, since this is the review before WrestleMania, because usually, I do a review the day of WrestleMania, but since I'm going to WrestleMania this year, I decided to move this up by a couple of days. So, the video in review today really is a no-brainer from the fans' point of view. Because how often is it that you can do a review on someone who's going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year? And the video in question, wrestling's living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Now, the videotape is hosted by Mean Gene Okerlund and Bruno Sammartino himself. Yes, Bruno does host the videotape. And this is a very interesting videotape because it breaks down into three different parts. The first part is Bruno, I guess you could say, during the prime of his career. Then it goes into a very good interview portion of the videotape. And then it goes into his comeback and a nice little finale at the end. So the first match on this tape is Bruno Sammartino against Nikolai Volkov. Now, this is a very interesting match because, number one, this match took place in 1976. So Nikolai Volkov went in the bin with the Iron Sheik at the time. Also, Nikolai Volkov is wearing all black. You know how he used to wear always all red trunks, red boots, red knee pads? It's all black. He's not even wearing knee pads in this. But this is a unique match for the fact that here Bruno is doing a lot of sort of Greco-Roman wrestling with Nikolai for a little bit. And then there's like a good 3-4 minute stretch where he's just kicking Nikolai. Like, he would try to get up, referee's counting him in the ring, and Bruno would just kick him over again. Now, at one point, Nikolai gets up to his feet, Bruno's punching him, and the ref pushes him back, and Nikolai's like, hey. But Nikolai does get the advantage in this match. At the end of the match, Nikolai attempts to send Bruno to the corner, but Bruno reverses it. Nikolai goes chest first into the top turnbuckle. Bruno does a schoolboy 1-2-3. Bruno Sammartino gets the win. The next match is against Baron von Raschke. Yes, that Baron von Raschke. He wasn't in WWF or WWE, whatever you want to call it, a lot, but when he was a top villain there. So in this match, Von Raschke fought Sammartino, and this is a good mixture here of villains that Bruno faces. That's one of the main pluses to this videotape, is the variety of wrestlers that he faces on this tape. Like, say, like with like the Roddy Piper tape, there'd be like 2 or 3 matches where he faces Jimmy Snuka, or like Hulkamania. There'd be like 2 matches with Big John Studd. Here, there is a variety of villains in this match. But back to the match in hand. Sammartino and Von Raschke, they have a good, back and forth match. Now, the end of the match comes when Bruno is he's getting back in the ring. Both men are on the outside. Bruno's getting back in the ring. Raschke hits him, gets Bruno's foot or his ankle caught in between the middle and the bottom rope. Von Raschke rolls back into the ring with a chair, hits Sammartino with the chair, and the referee disqualifies Von Raschke. Bruno Sammartino gets the win, remains champion. Now we go into an interesting match against Ken Patera. Legit, two of the strongest men in the history of the business, bar none. Bruno Sammartino and Ken Patera. I think if Bruno had not decided to be a professional wrestler, Bruno could have made a very good living as a professional weightlifter. He could have been, the strongest man in the world. He could have done all that. He could have won Olympic medals, in my opinion. But this is a very good match showing two legit strong men, and I mean strong men, in Ken Patera and Bruno Sammartino. And, it's just a good, even match. The ending is good. Ken Patera locks in the full Nelson, but Bruno climbs up the second rope, kicks both of them off. Referee counts 1. Bruno's clearly got the shoulder up. 2, 3. Sammartino wins. And when Patera's shoulders were down, Bruno just clearly, maybe at 1.5, Bruno had the arm up, clear as day. And then we go to really the best match of the entire tape. Bruno Sammartino and Killer Kowalski. Now, if you've never seen a Killer Kowalski match, this is the match you've got to see. This is just a fantastic match. Both men are brawling, and then Kowalski finally gets an advantage. He actually gets the advantage with a drop kick. And I never thought Killer Kowalski could do a drop kick. Boy, but that proved me wrong. So Kowalski gets the advantage, and then he starts, biting him, and Bruno starts bleeding. And then there's one point in the match where Kowalski's punching Sammartino right in the forehead, and you could hear the punch to the skull of the forehead. You could just hear it, like the first 3 punches. Now that's not the actual sound, but that's the motion. You watch this tape, you watch this match, you can hear the legit punches from Kowalski. So Sammartino's bleeding, but Bruno comes back, and both men start fighting. They're punching each other. Referee calls for the bell. Wrestlers have to come in to separate them, but that doesn't work, and the referee calls it a no contest. Bruno stays champion. So in 3 of the first 4 matches, you have Bruno as the champion, which is a very good point here in this videotape, is that, you don't want to have all your matches have Bruno as the champion. So now we go into this very interesting interview that Mean Gene conducts. And there's a lot of different things that they talk about, such as, how Bruno, how did his interest get in, the weightlifting, some of the stuff we knew, some of the stuff you really don't know, which is very good. And one thing that he points out, which I never really thought about, because remember, this tape is released in 1986. The wrestlers of today, at that time, to the wrestlers of yesteryear. And one thing he pointed out was that he didn't like how all the wrestlers are yelling, and they're saying, I'm going to break your neck, I'm going to break your leg, I'm going to, do this, do that. And, it's legit. Bruno does not like that, because it's Bruno. And then Mean Gene asks him a very interesting question. The philosophy on wrestling, philosophy on competition, and the philosophy on life. Now, the philosophy on life really got my attention because, and this was really good, and this is so true, not just about wrestling, but in any profession where your name's going to get big, whether it be in, the music business, acting, if you're an athlete, if you're a movie director. And Bruno makes this really good point where if you stay yourself, if you become a big star and you stay yourself, then you're going to have a good life. But if you change your life, if you change how you act, change how you are, then you're going to end up with a tragic life. And, I'm sure there's a couple of good examples out there of recently, but, I'm not going to go into that. So after the interview, we go to a special Piper's Pit. Bruno is the guest. Now, before he comes out, Piper's like, ladies! Oh, yeah, that's right. We're in New York. There are no ladies. Zing! Oh, that was so good. So Bruno comes out, and he says, if you're going to do this interview, send him, meaning Bob Orton, send him to the back. If he's going to stay there, then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to get one of my friends to come out here. So Bob Orton leaves, and they have the interview, and it's really good because you can feel the tension between both men, and it ends with Bruno shoving Piper onto the chair. The chair goes down, Piper goes down, and then both men start fighting. Piper tears off Bruno's shirt, and, they have to be separated before it got bad. So now we go to the match in the Boston Garden. Bruno Sammartino and Roddy Piper. Legit, within the first minute of the match, Piper is bleeding. Excuse me. Piper is bleeding from the forehead within the first minute of the match. That's how intense this gets. So, you're not, really this match, you don't see any wrestling holds. One funny point, looking back at it now, Bruno shoves the referee, and he goes over and he apologizes to the referee. He was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shove you. And then, Piper gets him with a low blow, and it's just so interesting to see. And Bruno, does have the advantage, and then all of a sudden, here comes Bob Orton from the back. He comes in, Sammartino fights him off. He tries to fight both men off as long as he can, but the numbers game catch up to him. Bruno does win as a result of a disqualification on that one. So now we go to a tag team match where it's Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton against Bruno Sammartino and his partner, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And this is a good tag match. Because Orndorff has beef with Piper. Sammartino has beef with Piper. Orndorff has beef with Orton. And Sammartino and Orton, they're just guilty by association. So they have to have beef with each other. Or at one point, Orton is, getting the disadvantage. He's, with Orndorff and Sammartino, and then, it reverses to where Orndorff gets attacked, and then Bruno gets attacked, and then Orndorff gets attacked. And in the end of the match, it's a very interesting end of the match. So Piper gets tagged in, Sammartino gets tagged in. So Sammartino throws Piper onto the floor. So Bruno obviously goes out after Piper. Well, both men are fighting on the floor, and, they're trying different things, like trying to send him into the post, over the barricade. So Bruno gets one of these wooden chairs, throws the chair, Piper ducks out of the way, hits the post. Piper pokes Sammartino in the eye, rolls back in before the 10 count. Piper and Orton win as a result of a count out. Very good ending to this match, I felt. And then to end the tape, Bruno Sammartino defending the title against George the Animal Steele inside of a steel cage. And this is old footage. This has got to be 40 plus years old at this point in time. And George Steele does have an advantage, but Bruno does come back. That full-blooded Italian, muscle man. And in the match, he sends George a couple of times into the cage, knocks him out. Bruno leaves, remains champion. So, what did I think of this? Well, I really don't know, to be honest, when or if WWE will ever put out a DVD set of Bruno Sammartino. Meanwhile, while the world waits to see if they do, this tape is a good pickup. This is a good buy to get. It really shows Bruno Sammartino in his prime and even into the 80s, where he does pretty good against guys like Roddy Piper and Bob Orton. I felt the interview part was really good. I just enjoyed that part. And, just the commentary with Mean Gene and Bruno before each match was very good. It was very enjoyable to watch, especially the older matches. And for you younger fans out there, if you want to learn more about Bruno Sammartino, if you want to understand the legend, the myth, that is Bruno Sammartino, sold out Madison Square Garden almost 200 times. This is a good tape to get. Now comes the very difficult part. Once I go through all 3 parts of a particular series, I rank them gold, silver, and bronze. Well, this is hands down right now the best 3 cassette tape series yet. Besides this, you have the Best of the WWF Volume 7 and Villains of the Squared Circle. Oh my God, how in the world can you put, one of those in third, one in second, one in first? It's really, really tough. Oh man, this is gonna be hard. Excuse me. So, this is how I'm going to rank them. Oh God, and they're each good. They really are. I'm gonna put the Best of the WWF Volume 7 with the bronze. I'm going to put Bruno with the silver, and I'm going to give Villains of the Squared Circle the gold as far as this set goes. But either one of these 3 could really, you could say, was the best of that set. That's how good each tape is. It's just very good, fun to watch, and I really do recommend you guys getting either one of those 3. But in this particular video, doing a review of Bruno Sammartino. If you want to, if you really want to understand, really what the hub is all about, of Bruno Sammartino finally going into the WWE Hall of Fame, this is a tape that you really have to get. And I just want to say to Bruno, for myself, congratulations on finally going into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. And I'm going to say this as a fan of wrestling. If there was no Bruno, there would be no WWE today. Bruno Sammartino is the single reason why WWE exists today. Without Bruno, there would have never been a Bob Backlund. There would have never been a Hulk Hogan. There would have never been a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Congratulations, Bruno, on finally going in to the WWE Hall of Fame. That's going to do it for this edition of the Retro Review. Make sure you tune in the upcoming weeks to see when you can pick the next edition of the Retro Review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So long, everybody.